the final numbers. Baker Mayfield finishes 17 of 32 for 167 yards, 3 touchdowns, though, and nearly 40 yards on the ground there. He got some running help from Bucky Irving as well. But the star of the show, Egbuka, bringing in that touchdown, setting the tone for his NFL career. As we welcome you back here into our studios, guys. I want to talk about Baker Mayfield and what he was able to do with this Bucs team. Pete, I kind of asked you this question earlier, tongue-in-cheek, but based on the rest of the division, we saw the Saints, we saw the Panthers, and we now see the Falcons losing at home. Did the Bucs kind of wrap up the division with this win today?
I thought they wrapped up the division before it started.
Fair.
I think they're the best team in the league. I think they're one of the best teams in the league. Once they get everybody healthy, and remember, they're playing without Tristan Wirfs at left tackle. He's one of the best left tackles in the league, and so you change the way you play on offense. And I thought they started sluggish today. They were a little off, particularly Baker Mayfield. He didn't look the same, and then he settled in, and you saw that throw to Egbuka. I mean, my gosh, he's being pressured. He stands in there and makes a throw down the field. I think the division is over, and I think that they're the best team, and it's clear that they're the best team. And their schedule's tough. It gets tough at certain points, but going on the road to open the season and winning at Atlanta is a statement game for the Tampa Bay Buccaneers.
I agree. I mean, let's be honest, this is a 2-team division, and to get that in Atlanta was massive. Baker's a gamer. I think when he responds best is kind of when the chips are against him, and that throw he made to Egbuka, the game-winning throw, that was vintage for me for him. He's a little bit of a gunslinger. I think he likes getting kind of dirty, and when that game starts to kind of break down, that's when he steps up and rises to the occasion. But Haley, you mentioned it. I think Emeka Egbuka was one of the biggest additions this team made to him as just a rookie. Pete and I were talking during the break, having covered him, talked to him at Big Ten Media Days a couple years ago. He is as impressive as it gets, yes, from a skill standpoint, but also as a pro. Like, this is the type of guy, when you talk to him, you're like, this guy's going to play in the NFL for 10-plus years, and he's going to have a ton of production because he knows how to prepare. He knows how to do the work, and it was great to see him get the production today because he's going to get great matchups because of the attention that Mike Evans brings on the other side. So I thought this was a huge get for Tampa Bay, and the fact that he was able to give that type of performance his first game, I think that's massive for the Bucs.
Baker Mayfield told me in May when I was there in minicamp that Egbuka was among the smartest rookies he's ever been around in his career. He said he knew all the positions. You know, guys come in, we were talking about Hunter learning one position. He learned them all. And he's just one of those guys that's such a smart football player. He's going to be a big-time player for them.
Did you pick Baker for MVP this year?
I didn't.
I thought somebody around here did, and I don't think it's a crazy.
I said I had a statement a bold statement where I said I think he's going to be in the MVP conversation, and I think he will be.
From your perspective, because I want to talk about the Falcons in this one too, because they were 3 points away from, at the very least, taking this to overtime. So when you look at Michael Penix and how he's kind of put his stamp on this team, what did you make of the Falcons?
So I felt like Michael Penix really took the next step because I felt like towards the end of last season when he came in, I felt like the media, we hyped it up a little bit more than what the performance showed, right? He barely completed 50% of the passes across that stretch. But you saw a guy in this offense that just looked comfortable. And then he did the one thing that you don't give him enough credit for was being able to run the ball and extend plays when they needed them. The big play for the first down, controversial call. We'll talk about that at some point.
He gave himself up.
and then the touchdown late. And so he gave them an opportunity to win the game, which as a quarterback, that's all you need. You have to put your team in position. But Chase McLaughlin, the kicker for Tampa Bay, he missed the extra point, which is even why they even had a chance to kick a game-tying field goal. And we won't go down that rabbit hole because we did it with Pete already. And I don't want to get Pete started.
We're going to get him started later.
But I will say this. I don't think that Tampa Bay has this division wrapped up.
Okay.
Because I think the Falcons have enough to score points on offense, and I think this defense, particularly secondary, is going to really come together. And once they get those young edge rushers, they figure out a role for these guys to get these guys on the field more. I think this defense is going to really come together, and I think they're going to be a balanced team in this division. And also, I want to throw in that the Falcons did sweep the Bucs last year. So I just want to throw that out there.
But they're 0-1.
They're 0-1 now. And
I will say this, though,
and they could take that, and it means nothing.
I thought Penix, we're doing our later in the show top 3 quarterback performance. I considered Penix as a top 3 performer, and they lost, but he did enough to win the game. I think when we were talking about when to play young quarterbacks, the fact that he got to play those 4 or 5 games at the end of last season. I thought that was huge for him to start realizing, recognizing the type of intricate details that goes in from week to week where he's got that head start now. I thought he looked really, really comfortable.
And Pete, just real quick, there's a big difference in what Michael Penix stepped into last year versus what you're trying to throw Jackson Dart into. Penix has weapons.
Yeah, true.
Like tons of weapons.
True.
And Jackson Dart, not so much.
I mean,
Michael Penix finished 27 of 42, 298 passing yards, and of course the 2 touchdowns. So a good start there.
By the way, real quick, and you referenced it, giving yourself up. They got to work on that rule because he didn't give himself up, and they called him giving himself up.
We need to get Ruben in here so you can record that for social, so we can put it out there on our social page. I want to talk about Geno Smith, guys, because I feel like, you know, he's feeling energetic. He's got Pete Carroll on the sidelines, and they go out and they get it done against the Patriots. He had 362 passing yards, a touchdown. He did have an interception there, but the ultimate thing with this is that the Raiders pick up a big win over the Patriots. When you think about, Ran, how Geno Smith sort of came into this new organization almost with a chip on his shoulder, ready to prove that he still can get it done. What did you make of what Geno and the Raiders were able to do, even with some injuries in this game?
Found a way to get a win. And that's all you look for. Because Geno Smith, he's going to always have a chip on his shoulder. From the way he entered the league and what people have said about Geno throughout his entire career, and all he's done, is, particularly since his time in Seattle, is figure out ways to win games. And that's where he's going to continue to grow. Now, there's going to be more on his shoulders with this Raiders team as Pete Carroll continues to build out the team. If my memory serves me correct, going back to Pete's first year with Seattle, they had over 270 transactions that first year. And they kept churning the bottom of the roster till they can figure out the right group of guys. And I expect to, even though they won today, I expect to see them do that until they can get those right group of guys in there. And it's all going to fall on Geno's shoulder to kind of steady the ship and keep them in games that they can win.
I mean, you look at churning the roster, they need to churn roster on the defensive side. The defense was okay today, but you look at that makeup of that defense, you go Crosby and then a bunch of guys. I mean, even in the secondary, they have some issues back there. I do think offensively, if Geno plays the way he played today and Genty gets it going, they're going to score points, and they should be an offense that can score some points. So I'm looking forward to seeing Geno continue to develop in that system. And for a first game, he put on a heck of a show today.
I love Geno's story. He's taken the long road. What he did in Seattle was phenomenal. And then to show him, he was a playmaker. I mean, the touchdown pass was a beautiful anticipation ball to Trey Tucker, the one where he kind of blooped it over, and it was a great touch pass. Then how about him making plays where he's outside the pocket, the 4th down conversion where he's rolling to his left and then knows where to go with the football, throws it all the way back across the field to his right, which is not the most, advised pass. It's ill-advised to try to make those plays, but he made a couple of those. He's got some play. He's a playmaker. He's got some game left in him where I think it could make the Raiders an interesting story this season.
By the way, their head coach, of course, Pete Carroll, the oldest coach in the NFL, 73 years, 357 days old, becomes the oldest coach.
We root for old guys around here.
We root for the old guys.
Come on
here on Game Day Recap. All right, got to hit another break here on the show. When we come back, Pete's favorite subject, the kickers did not do their job today. One of them might get cut. You'll have to stick around to find out. Stay with us here on CBS Sports HQ.